What's going on YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. Now, today we're going to be talking about 3 of the most exciting features coming up in the next generation VR headsets, and 3 features that, quite frankly, I know every single one of us are so anxious to get our hands on, and I really hope that these VR tech companies are putting a big emphasis on these features for the next generation headset, because really these features are going to separate VR from where it is even at now as being above, but it's going to really push the gap and promote it to be the future of video games. So if you guys like this type of content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm doing a ton of content here, VR reviews, update reviews, gameplay montages, and some other VR related content. If you guys really like that stuff, subscribe to my channel, check it out. I'm gonna be uploading videos a couple of times a week. So without further ado, let's hop on into this thing and start out with number 3. Alright guys, for our first item on this list that is definitely a very highly anticipated feature of future virtual reality headsets is wireless VR. Yes, there is some solutions out there. Currently, we have the TPcast and Vive has come out with their own version of wireless, but these are definitely not foolproof, as really, there's no warning for whenever these shut off, and the playtime is vastly shortened whenever using these solutions. And I know that the TPcast has its own array of problems with not syncing up and being a little bit slower when it comes to the latency issues. Overall, I think that this is definitely something in the future that is going to be improved upon vastly, and the next generation of headsets may or may not use a wireless solution. But I do feel that in order for it to be used and be used the right way, it's going to have much longer play life than 2 hours and not have to charge for 6 hours, because that's currently what the Vive wireless solution is a charge for 6 hours and 2 hours of gameplay. I know myself personally, if I get a day to myself where I have plenty of time, I do tend to be playing games a lot longer than 2 hours, and I really don't want to have to wait 6 hours for my wireless adapter to recharge. So I think that that's something that the VR industry definitely needs to work on, is figuring out a solution to be wireless and make it affordable and user-friendly so that you really don't notice the difference between wired and wireless. And that will definitely free up a lot of people in their confined or play spaces, because you're going to have that freedom of movement and you're not going to get tangled up nearly as much if you have a wireless solution. Again, I just feel that the biggest hurdle they have to tackle right now is making it adaptable to A, all headsets, and B, for longer play sessions, because I know that not everybody's going to want to have 3 or 4 spare batteries if they have a day where they're going to play for a significant amount of time. So with the next item on our list here as a pretty exciting item, and something that personally I'm really looking forward to when they come up with the right way to do it, and that is a higher field of view inside the headset. I currently am running an Oculus, so I have that 110 degree field of view, and it's fine, it gets the job done, and you still feel pretty immersed in a game, but I can't just imagine the future whenever I have a full field of view degree of the human eye, which is going to happen and it will come. And maybe if it's not the full, it's pretty close. And man, is that going to be immersive whenever they figure out a way to put enough pixels per degree and pixels per inch in those screens, because currently the Pimax has the widest field of view, but it has a slew of problems when it comes to the pixels and the way that the horizontal pixels are laid out. It just isn't as clear as the Valve Index, which does offer a slightly higher field of view than the Rift and the Vive, and actually the HPV Reverb G2 that is coming out. So the Valve Index has the highest field of view amongst headsets that are commonly used for gaming, and it is definitely an improvement, and you can see that. So you can only imagine whenever they go from 130, that is the Valve Index now, to something like 200, but it's actually optimized and done the right way, unlike the Pimax, which just isn't user ready yet. It's going to be quite the upgrade, and this is going to be a really exciting part of VR, because you're going to really feel immersed. I know that you still feel pretty good now, but it's just a matter of, you still see those black edges, and imagine a game wherever you feel like you're almost in real life graphic situations. And that's really what the future of VR is going to hold, as we think about as video games grew and how they came up from the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean, the graphics then were significantly worse compared to now, where the graphics are almost real life-like, and VR is still pretty new. So it's going to be one of those things where virtual reality is just taking leaps and bounds forward over the years to come. come, and I think that the field of view and the pixels per degree and the resolution of all these headsets is going to go through the roof until the point where it pretty much is real life in VR, and that's going to be really exciting to the VR users as this market continues to grow. Okay, and with the final slot on this list, we have a feature that may or may not be in the next-gen headsets. There's a lot of buzz going around about it being in the next-gen headsets, but it's going to be really interesting to see how they pull it off, because it's no easy task, and that is foveated rendering. Now, foveated rendering is going to make a huge difference in the VR market space. And if you don't know what foveated rendering is, it means that the screen is actually going to track your eye movements and render more pixels where your pupil is focused on the screen, which is going to allow for much higher frame rates. You're going to be able to use VR headsets with a little bit lower end machines compared to what you have to have now, which is going to be good for the more affordable options if people are looking to just buy a good gaming PC, but not a super amazing gaming PC, and that's definitely going to help that out. But it's also going to help in so many other degrees when it comes to actual resolution and your screen clarity and your image clarity in the game. This is probably going to eliminate the screen door effect whenever they manage to pull this off, and it's going to be no daunting task, because it's definitely something that is really hard to figure out, because the eye has so many different movements and tracking, and the pupil changes size, and it's going to be definitely an interesting technology solution whenever they do. But if anybody can do it, it's going to be the VR engineers, because they're so passionate about what they do, and it's going to be really interesting to see. And Oculus is already talking about their next generation having the field of view and the foveated rendering, and that's pretty exciting, because it's going to be interesting to see how this is actually performed. Now, I would bet that Valve Index 2, whenever that is released, that is also going to have some version of foveated rendering, as Valve is constantly pushing the boundaries of VR, and we will definitely see how this plays out, and really how it plays out whenever you're actually in the headset. Is it going to work, or is it going to be a hindrance on your performance? Definitely something to keep your eye on, and absolutely the number one feature that everybody is looking forward to in the virtual reality game space. Well guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys like this type of content, please drop a like below and hit that subscribe button, as I am going to be bringing a ton of VR content, and I'm doing a couple uploads a week. So don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time.